and welcome to the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Solomon Fowowe, and it has been a wonderful weekend, especially for we Nigerians. AJ came back to become the world heavyweight champion, and also another man, Kelechi Iheanacho, has been in the news and is the man on fire. Well, you call it Kelechi 2.0, and it's been a major resurgence. Today, it's going to be a monologue, and we're going to be talking about why it is inevitable. It has been inevitable that a Kelechi resurgence was always going to come around. Now, he's gotten 4 goals in his 4 games this season, and that equals what he did in his past 42 matches. That's quite impressive. This weekend, it was a goal and an assist in that particular fixture against Aston Villa, and it was impressive to see Kelechi do so well in that fixture. Now, in 2 games before that, that was the game against Everton, that was when it all started. He came into the fixture, he came into that particular match, Leicester City were behind, and he provided an assist and he scored a goal in that particular fixture. We thought we would see him in the next game against Watford, but well, Brendan Rodgers had other plans and it wasn't in that particular match. And the next game came, and it was the game against Aston Villa. He started in that particular fixture, one very beautiful combination between himself and Jamie Vardy, 2 up top, and we were waiting to see that. How come it's taking this long for Brendan Rodgers to play both of them up top? And it was something that brought a whole lot of fruits, brought major fruits, because we saw another goal and another assist by Kelechi Iheanacho. And the start line reads this way. It was 63 minutes that he played. He had a goal, he had an assist, he had 21 passes, 100% pass accuracy, meaning he completed all of his passes. And what was quite incredible was the fact that he had 4 key passes, 4 shots, 2 dribbles, 1, and 2 tackles, 1. Welcome to Kelechi 2.0. So now, why has it taken so long for Kelechi to come into the fray for Leicester City? Now, Brendan Rodgers is a manager, a very good manager, impressive manager. What he has done with Leicester has been quite phenomenal since he joined them. And we see that they're second on the log, and they're just behind Liverpool. Now, he's one person that likes to keep a tight ship. He gets all his players that he needs, and it doesn't quite fiddle so much with his starting 11. In fact, let me just read this out to you, courtesy of that's Football 365. 11 players had started at least 11 of their first 14 Premier League matches. That's Leicester first 14 Premier League games. And for context, Liverpool have 9, Manchester City have 6 players who would fit that career. So 11 players that started at least 11 of their 14 Premier League games. So, but you're looking at, okay, was coming to the festive season, and there's going to be a clogfest of fixtures. So at some points was meant to chop and change, bring in new faces, bring in fresh faces, and that he did with Kelechi Iheanacho at this time. And I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of Iheanacho in the Premier League this season, especially with the way that Brendan Rodgers has really quite taken to him. You know, remember when it wasn't starting games, that's Kelechi, and we were worried. We're like, oh, how is Iheanacho not starting games? Is Iheanacho falling down the pecking order? Is he not more as good as we always projected him to be, especially since the Under-17 World Cup, going to Manchester City before he was sold by Manchester City, but with a release clause. But we didn't see him start so many games. But one thing that Brendan Rodgers always said was that he had a future, and he was quite impressed with the performances of Kelechi Iheanacho. You know, in the preseason, he did quite well, but we saw him return to the bench. And it took like 14 games, 14 games before we saw Kelechi Iheanacho come into the fray for Leicester City. So I think it's going to be, it's going to continue. We're going to be seeing a whole lot more of Kelechi Iheanacho. And why he has taken this long is probably because Brendan Rodgers was trying to keep him fresh enough for this end of the season, because they were always going to get even more players. Jamie Vardy is not getting any younger. It's not going to be that sprite chicken always running up and down the field. He has to get some form of support. And one thing that I'll give major props to that Brendan Rodgers for is that he actually has found a very beautiful way for him to deploy Kelechi Iheanacho. You know, Iheanacho has always been this person bugged with, oh, where does he play? Where does he fit the most? Is he a striker? Is he an attacking midfielder? Or even is he a winger? So there's been a whole lot of dilemma about what sort of position or the perfect position for Kelechi Iheanacho. And we saw in that particular fixture against Aston Villa that, he's really an 8. He plays as a support striker behind the behind the striker. And we saw how he worked in tandem with that Jamie Vardy in that particular fixture, got balls, he knows how to play those passes in. You know, if you see the assist he made for Jamie Vardy, first nutmeg a particular play and waited a perfect pass, pitch perfect pass to Jamie Vardy, and Vardy did the rest. And for the goal that he scored, also showed his qualities as a striker, and we saw him going to the near post. There's that spatial awareness that we've always seen from Kelechi Iheanacho, and it came to bear fruits in that particular fixture. So it's Kelechi 2.0, and hopefully I will see him back in the colours of the Super Eagles, because I think for the past 2 or 3 iterations of call-ups, he has not made the Super Eagles squad. So I think Gennett Roy is going to be having a change of heart. That is if Kelechi Iheanacho continues on this path, because there are a couple of other great strikers too for Nigeria doing so well. Victor Osimhen is one. Josh Maja of Bordeaux is also doing so well, incredibly well actually, for his club side. So hopefully Kelechi Iheanacho comes to represent Super Eagles once again. He gets a call-up by Gennett Roy. So that's my rant, that's my monologue, that's my musing, yeah, you could say, about why Kelechi's resurgence has been inevitable. You know, from Manchester City, we knew his quality, we knew such talent that he had, and coming to Leicester City, maybe he didn't do so well. You know, I remember I wrote an article about Leicester being a finishing school for Kelechi Iheanacho, the same way that Everton was a finishing school for, say, someone like Romelu Lukaku, but it didn't quite work out. Maybe it's still going to work out because there's still that release clause. Maybe he's still going to be doing so well in the Premier League and become that superstar that we have always projected him to be. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think rather that Iheanacho's resurgence has been inevitable, or do you think it's just a flash in the pan and it's going to return to his really not so good times in the Premier League? So that's all we can take on the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you should absolutely do that already. What are you waiting for? There's awesome content from Guardian Nigeria for you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Fowowe, and this has been the Nutmeg.